son.
Get it. 19.
On me, son.
David Goggins, one of the hardest men on the planet. Literally, this guy is known for his mental toughness, the hundreds of thousands of miles he runs, and just resilience in general, just badassery, you know what I mean? But it wasn't always like that for David. And in this video, we are going to talk about what made him change, what made him transform into that person that we all know. And in my humble opinion, there's two things, two main components that made him who he is. Number one.
So I always fixed the things on the surface. So if I couldn't read and write, I learned to read and write. I would always fix these things on the surface level. And so whenever something hard would raise its ugly head, I didn't have any kind of tools to handle it. Like, man, I thought I fixed this already, man. But no, I didn't go deep into the dungeon of my soul to say, okay, what is making you a quitter? What is making you a weak man?
He did something that most of us don't do, which is he looked at himself honestly. No BS, no excuse, no nothing. He stripped himself to the core and looked at himself and said, okay, this is where I'm at. What's wrong with me? Why am I this way? Why am I so messed up? Why am I so afraid? Why am I not where I want to be in life? Because it's easy to make excuses and not only make excuses, but blame things outside of ourselves. He took his time, looked at himself, and looked at all of the things he was doing wrong. And he went deep, super deep. Because it's easy to go on the surface level and look at yourself, but you gotta look at not only what's wrong, but why it's wrong. You know what I mean? What's wrong, but why is it wrong? Where does it come from? What's the origin? Is it trauma? Is it something that happened in your childhood? Or is it just the way you conditioned yourself to behave after something happened? You need to find out why.
And that's why I always tell people, I'm not a theorist. I didn't study, I didn't study a fucking book. I literally put myself in a fire repeatedly like a sword. You put a sword in the fire repeatedly and repeatedly. If you keep on doing that, you're gonna get a nice sword. And then you keep on beating it. You gotta beat the shit out of it. And that's what I am.
Yeah.
I became that. I said, okay, we can't quit. We gotta figure out why you are this pussy. Why are you this pussy, man? What is wrong with you? What's going on here? So I kept on putting the sword back in the daggone fire, and I just beat it harder. And I beat it harder. Before I knew it, I started realizing, all right, man, the brain is starting to get hard.
He put himself through the fire like a sword. Put himself through the fire again and again. What does that mean? He put himself in uncomfortable situations. For example, in normal life, it could be awkward situations or situations that causes you to stress, things that make you afraid. When you go into them situations and you kind of go outside of yourself, like observe yourself as you're afraid, you'll find out a lot about yourself. You know, one of the best places to find about yourself is in a boxing gym or a MMA gym. You'll find out a lot about yourself, maybe not straight away, but over time. When you learn to observe yourself, you'll find out what triggers you. And that's really important, because whatever puts you in fight or flight, that's what you need to attack. That's the part of your life that you need to weed out. Do you know what I mean? That's a quality in you that, or whatever you need to confront it. Do you know what I mean? So you need to strip yourself down to the core, put yourself in the fire in those situations that make your body tense, literally, and find out what is what. And that can translate into performance, athletic, work, You might have limiting beliefs. You might have problems connecting with other people because you got blocks, or unconsciously you're self-sabotaging. In my videos I talk a lot about self-sabotage, but people that self-sabotage, it often stems from something that's buried deep, you know. And if you don't put yourself in the fire, you won't be able to reveal what's up, what the real issue is, you know. Pressure makes diamonds. So that's one thing I learned from David Goggins. The second thing I learned from David,
I had to invent a guy that didn't exist. I had to invent a guy that can take any pain, any suffering, any kind of judgment, be called nigger, be called whatever the fuck in the world, and be able to stand in the fucking room and say, go fuck yourself.
if you want to be like a high performer, especially if you want to be a high performer, you need an alter ego. That's where Goggins come in the picture. Because Goggins is like a superhuman. Goggins can go to dark places. Goggins can do what you and I can't do. Goggins can run the miles even when his leg is broken. Goggins can go to the military, carry the boats. Goggins can do that, and that's an alter ego. And if you look at a lot of like celebrities and especially athletes, like they all have alter egos, a lot of them. Do you know what I mean? If you look at fighters, Stylebender, Bones, the ego. When you perform, you gotta be ruthless. You gotta detach from everything. Borderline detach from your humanity a bit, because our emotions, human emotions, just they bound you a little bit. But when you use an alter ego, you go beyond that. And sometimes you use an alter ego and you don't even realize it. For example, I'll give you an example here. I used to work in sales. Like when I was young, I was a super shy kid. But because my way of earning, my livelihood was based on selling, I unconsciously created an alter ego. So whenever I would go to the shop, all of a sudden everything will change, posture will change, confidence will come. But that wasn't really me, because as soon as I would be away from that place, it's like I'm back to being like a shy person, don't talk. You know what I'm saying? So consciously create an alter ego, but let it be an alter ego that is not going to trickle into your life. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to have negative repercussions on your life. Do you know what I mean? Because, for example, I'll make a video about alter egos. I'll make a separate videos about alter egos, because that's a very interesting topic. You know what I mean? So build the person you want to be. You know, build that person and become that person. Call on to that person when you in times of need. Do you know what I mean? That's the two things to me that created Goggins. Going deep, finding yourself, working on that person, deciding who you're going to be, and just let the process unfold. You know, just let the process unfold. If you go down in the description, I have a little questionnaire, a little program that will help you basically dig deep down. Yeah, the link will be in the description.
Come on, we want to see it. Good, 22.
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
That's you, buddy. Come on, 23. Come on, 24. One more, David.
Who's
One more.
gonna carry the boats?
You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You did it. Yeah.